This is my improv story. Wait, let me start again. This is my spooky improv story called Castle. Thank you very much. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Terry. Now, Terry was a prince, and Terry lived in a castle. Terry's mum and dad were the king and the queen, and he had a sister who was a princess. And as much as he had a lot of advantages as a prince, he had servants waiting at his every need. He didn't even need to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. They just bring a pot. The life, am I right? They had banquets every day, parties all night. Everything was amazing for them. It was truly first world. The definition of first world. Not New World, that's an Amazon thing. But Terry was sick of it. He was sick of being royal. He was sick of having everything done for him. He wanted to be independent, you know. He wanted to be an independent boy, a 10-year-old boy who don't listen to no mum and dad. Click, click, click. So one day he was going on a stroll around the castle. He was manoeuvring around all the different towers, and he was looking around. And then he found himself in the library eventually, in the castle library. He looked around and he saw the librarian. The librarian was a sweet old lady called Belle. Belle was at the desk just reading, what was it called? I can't remember what it's called. What's the thing that GLaDOS quoted? Moby Dick. She was reading Moby Dick at the reception of the castle library. Terry approached her at the register and said, "Hello, Belle, how are you doing today?"
Hello, Terry. I don't see you coming in here often.
She adjusted her tiny little spectacles to get a better look at Terry. "Yeah, I'm just having a look around. I'm kind of bored today, you know. I was just seeing if there's anything interesting around the castle."
Okay, well, you may have a look around the library. Let me know if you find anything of interest. There is something creepy afoot in this castle.
"Creepy?" Terry said.
I've heard stories recently that are very strange.
"Oh,
I can't say anything, however. Castle staff, you know. I can't really go into the details. Maybe ask your parents when you go back upstairs."
Okay, whatever. I'll find out the details for myself," Terry said, turning around and strolling away. The old lady, Belle, went back to her book, glancing up at Terry once more, and then glancing back down at her book. Terry looked around the library. It was vast. There were so many books and columns, everything from A to Z. There was even a manga section. It was crazy. And Terry, being an absolute gamer, went into the manga section. And he saw a manga for One Piece, because again, he's a gamer. And he went to go pull one out of the collection. And when he pulled that book, he heard a click noise, and the column of books moved along the wall and revealed a passage behind the wall. Terry looked around, like, wondering if anyone had noticed. He could still see Belle, but Belle must not have heard it because she was still entranced in her book. She was not entranced in her... Anyway, this is what I mean when I say I'm, like, audibly dyslexic. Um, so Terry looked around to see if he was being watched, and realizing that no one knew what had happened, he made his way into the passageway. The passageway shut behind him, and he jumped with fright. And he looked around, and it was quite dark, but he noticed a little lantern on one of the shelves on the inside of the passageway. He grabbed the lantern, and he made his way through the passageway behind the bookshelf. It seemed like he was going on forever and ever, and it felt like he was going on for miles all around the castle, until eventually he saw a light at the end of the corridor. He walked up some stairs, and then he opened a big heavy metal door at the top. The light he saw was a window on the door. Otherwise, how did he see the light? That would have been impossible. And he came through the door, and he realised he was at the top of the castle. He quickly shielded his eyes. Ugh. The sunlight was too much for his eyes. He was at the top of the castle. He'd actually never been there before in his entire 10 years of living in the castle. He was on the roof, and he looked around, and he saw a beautiful lake completely surrounding the castle, with a moat and a bridge going across the lake. Terry was entranced in the lake. Once he saw the lake, he couldn't take his eyes off it. Suddenly, he heard a noise. He wasn't sure what the noise was, because he was so entranced in the beautiful blue glistening waves of the gorgeous sparkly lake. But he heard a noise like, "Come, my darling. Come, my darling." Terry wasn't sure what he was hearing, but he found himself moving towards the lake. He couldn't move. His legs were moving by themselves, but his arms were stuck at his sides. He couldn't do anything. He was panicking internally because obviously he was on the roof, and if he fell off the roof he would die. There wasn't a way for him to get off. Suddenly, an entire vast tsunami-like building of water arose from the lake right in front of Terry on the roof. And there was a beautiful enchantress sat on a rock. He again couldn't say anything because he was frozen solid, but he found that he could move his lips. "Who are you?" Terry said. "Come, my darling. Come, my darling." Terry once again found himself walking forward, step by step by step, right, left, right, left. He couldn't move his arms. His lips were once again sealed. He found himself standing on the ledge of the balcony, of the roof, sorry. Then all of a sudden a water bridge formed between the water building and the castle. "Come, my darling. Come, my darling." Terry found himself once again walking forward, and walking somehow along the water bridge, step by step by step by step. He couldn't see the woman because she was sat away from him on the rock. She was facing the other way, just admiring the sunset. Step by step by step, he came closer and closer. Suddenly, as he got as close to her as he possibly could, she turned around, and from the back she looked like a beautiful woman. Long turquoise hair with ringlets of blue amongst them like a gorgeous tidal wave. Olive skin with freckles on each arm, beautiful birthmarks and beauty marks entranced all over her skin. But as she turned around, we could see that she had a large gaping mouth like that of an anglerfish, teeth long like that of knives, long as bananas,
eyes milky white like a dead fish. Her skin was all sodden and wrinkly. And then suddenly, her angular fish mouth curved up into a big, bright smile. Terry still couldn't move, but inside he was screaming. He was screaming. In his head he was saying, "Mom, Mom, Dad, help me. I'm gonna die. Please help me. I'm so scared." The beautiful woman stood up. And she picked up the boy like he weighed absolutely nothing. Then all of a sudden, she jumped off the building and dove into the water, disappearing from sight. From a distance, you could just see the bubbles rising to the surface, slowly, slowly dissipate. Until they were gone. And no one saw Terry ever again. The end. I don't really know where I was going with that, to be honest. But, yeah. Turns out you can get sirens in more places than just the ocean. You can get them in lakes. You can probably get them in your local duck pond. But you want to know how I know that this is a real story? I was the old lady in the library concentrating on my dick. I was concentrating so hard. Oh, literally. Anyway, guys, that is my spooky story. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. Yay! Yay! Woo!